was the name and where was the first Oxford house that you were voted into?
That would be Port Rush in Dallas, Texas.
The first Oxford House I was voted into was Oxford House Browntown in Wilmington, Delaware.
The first Oxford House was Oxford House Cripe in Richardson, Texas. I was coming out of treatment and I had only set up an interview for one Oxford House. At the time, I didn't really know much about Oxford House in the process. Probably should have set up more than one interview. But I went in, they asked me some questions. I'm not normally good in social situations like that, but for some reason I did a fantastic job. I went outside to grab my money order from the truck just in case they voted me in. I wanted them to have that secured before I left back for treatment because I had a few days left. And when I got back to the door with my money order, they said, "Congratulations and welcome home."
Were you unanimously voted in, or was it like 81%?
I would say that it was unanimous.
The house was in downtown Wilmington, a couple blocks from the Wilmington Riverfront. It was a great location, lots of restaurants nearby. I was coming out of treatment. It was my first time in treatment and my first time looking to go into sober living. So it was pretty cool.
It was a struggling house, to say the least, when I moved in. There was only 3 other residents living there at the time. I was actually voted in by chapter as well as the residents that were living there.
And that was one of the most meaningful things that I can remember happening to me.
Awesome. How did it make you feel the first time you realized that Oxford House was going to be the catalyst that changed your life forever?
How did it make me feel? Oxford House gave me a purpose in life. I knew how to drink and use drugs. That was my purpose in life for almost 20 years. And I thought that was my only purpose in life. I did not know my strengths. The very, very first service position that I ever stepped into gave me a sense of purpose and taught me how to have my voice.
So a little bit of my story. I'm not a first-time winner. I've went back out a lot of times. I've been expelled from quite a few Oxford houses. But I'm pretty sure, like, from the first house I lived in, I kind of knew that, that's what recovery looked like solid, stable recovery. I just wasn't ready yet.
And what that made me feel like was that one thing that was missing in my life that reverted me to drinking and using, and that my voice mattered. And it didn't have to be the right voice, it just had to be my voice. And that was that feeling of empowerment and believing in myself. I don't know that I can put one unique feeling on that, except for I began to hear my voice. And it didn't matter that anybody else heard it, but people believed in me enough to where I could actually have that voice.
But when I moved back into Oxford House this time, I was 2 years clean. I had been out on my own. I'd still stayed in service with Oxford House, with the chapter in the county that I live in. I became really good friends with the outreach workers that were here in Delaware through all my multiple trips through houses. And they always knew that I had something to offer, and they always knew that I could be a person that could help people change their lives.
Nilson, how did it make you feel when you first realized that Oxford House was going to be the catalyst that changed your life forever?
Confused, because it was completely unexpected, and I had expected my life to be a certain way. And a lot of that was tied in with a lot of delusions that I had about myself or what I wanted or what would make me happy. But after getting sober and surrounding myself with people who were positive and encouraging me, bringing me up, and I found purpose in Oxford House. And it was surprising, but I wouldn't have it any other way now.
I was probably there about 2 months, and one of the guys that was there was like really like didn't want to work, didn't want to run the house per the model, didn't want to do chores, didn't want to pay his EES, didn't want to go to meetings, and the other guy that was living there was kind of falling into the trap when I got there. But like after about 2 months there, we started getting some new guys in the house, and I started showing them like how the model really worked, and everybody started to plug in. The house just really wasn't a nice house. I know Paul's very big on nice houses and nice communities. It was a nice community, but it wasn't that nice of a house. We got some new guys in there, and I started to see them get on board and starting to like do their chores properly, and we all started going to meetings together, and the bank account started to get a little right, so like we could pay the bills. And we decided to move the house. We found a nicer house up the street, and when we moved, we ended up moving 5 guys into a 7-man house, and 3 of those guys are still sober today. That was 5.5 years ago. So that house made me realize that like Oxford House really, really, really worked.
What would you say to somebody who is thinking about stepping up to that next level of service, whether it be in the chapter or maybe the state association, or even possibly wanting to become an outreach worker, and they're just not sure about making that decision?
Well, the first thing I like to tell residents that are looking to get involved in services, I like to use one of the foundations of a solid recovery program is service work. And the way my sponsor taught it to me was service is done inside and outside of the rooms. So I like to let them know that like this is service work, and service is kind of like the heartbeat of our program, man.
Don't let fear stop you from continuing your growth in your recovery.
So my experience was in a state that had no outreach, and the service work gave me an opportunity to grow within myself.
I tell them about all the successes that I've had, as far as like, you get that female resident or that male resident that just has never been able to get right and stay right. And then you get them into a strong house, and then you watch them bloom, you water the seed.
There were lots of opportunities that I had to step up before I did in certain situations. And it always made me uncomfortable. I started to doubt myself. And I wondered, well, does anybody really value me or what I have to say? How can I help people? Accepting the challenge and stepping up to be of service gave me a number of things. It helped catapult me to the next level of my in growth in my recovery, and it helped me find that purpose.
I tell people a lot that Oxford House, especially like new outreach workers, this is a very stressful job sometimes.
Through my trials and error is that you have to first put yourself first and make sure that you are ready to be of service, that my spirituality's in check, my recovery's in check, because if I don't have those in check, I have nothing else to offer, and to build off your strengths.
But the benefits that I have reaped from being an outreach worker, the stability in my recovery, the knowing the need that I still needed to participate in a program of recovery, to be good, to continue to be good at my job. I have to grow with my job. I just like to let people know that, like, we're here for each other.
The one thing that I would say more than anything with anybody wanting to step up and to be of service is that you're not going to do it perfect. And that's what's great about the democracy of Oxford House, is that you don't have to do it perfect. You don't have to do it alone. And to build your team, because it takes a village to make Oxford House work.
I'm a firm believer that a lot of us have suffered from guilt and shame throughout our addictions, and we come into recovery and have a difficult time feeling worthy or trying to believe in ourselves. Moving into an Oxford House, number one, showed me that people believed in me before I believed in myself. And being of service allowed me to do things that made me feel like I was worthy and helped me acquire that self-worth that I have today.
Who do you think is most proud of the success that you've had in Oxford House?
You're gonna make me cry on that one.
My family.
My mom's been my biggest supporter since I got clean this time. Not at first. Obviously, I did what I did to get what I needed to get. And like when I first got clean this time, when I came back, my mom and me, we didn't speak for probably 7 months.
I would say that it wouldn't be Oxford related. It would be my daughter.
I hadn't really done a whole lot with my life. Up until I was always this rubber band that was going back and forth from a state of complete helplessness to achieving some measure of stability, and then I would snap right back. And through years of that, my family started, they loved me. They loved me throughout the entire process, but they just got disappointed.
She would be the most proud in the achievements that I made through Oxford House, because I wasn't a mother, I wasn't a friend.
Now we know individuals that suffer from the disease of addiction. That's par for the course until we get to the point where we fully acquiesce and surrender and acknowledge to our innermost selves that we want to change. But during that entire process, I lost a lot of faith and I disappointed my family members. But now they see a changed perspective, a changed attitude. They see that I can show up in their lives, be consistent, and they're proud of that.
After I opened a few houses down here, and she started to see, what I was really doing and the effect that it was having, like not only on myself but also like our community. Sussex County, Delaware is kind of small. Georgetown is where I live, and there's 9 Oxford houses in the town of Georgetown. After she saw, what I was doing for our community, kind of gave her a change of heart.
Through the relationships and the experience that I have been able to develop through Oxford House, it's opened the door for us to develop a very strong relationship. And that goes for my whole family.
I always thought that to make my family proud, I needed to, graduate, with honors and get a nice job. I was planning on being a doctor, and most of that was tied in with what I thought other people wanted me to be, and what I thought I needed to do to be happy, make a lot of money. I thought that would make my family proud. It's not. That's not what my family wanted from me. They just wanted me to be happy, be successful, and to be able to contribute to life. But most of all, they wanted me to show up and be a part of the family.
But yeah, mom's been the biggest supporter of me over the last 5 years. She's just so proud of me and so grateful to have, not to have her son back, because the man I am today resembles nothing of the man I was before. So she's just happy to have this caliber of a son that will do anything for her.
We were speaking on a conference call just the other day of how you can take a simple Oxford House experience where the bones of Oxford House exist to a house meeting and implement that into all of your life skills, down to raising your family or having interactions with people in society. It all stems from what we learn within a house meeting, to confrontation, to addressing behaviors. It's all the life skills we missed during drugs and alcohol.
Oxford House has given me the vehicle to get to that point, and I'm grateful for it. And I know my family's grateful for it too.
We have a cornhole tournament every summer. It's kind of turned into kind of a big thing here, and my mom brought my grandparents last year, and like they couldn't believe like how nice the house was and how many people were there and how much food we had and the stuff we were giving away. So like my family in general has been like a big supporter of me throughout my Oxford House tenure.
So I would say that the people that were mostly impacted in my success through Oxford House has been the developing relationship with my family.
I'd never used Zoom before, so I was a little apprehensive. Like I'm pretty tech savvy, but I was kind of apprehensive about all this in the beginning. Like, how am I going to conduct, chapter meetings and house meetings? Like, how am I supposed to deal with these problems? But it was like 36 people in this chapter meeting, and like it went off without a flaw. I was like, that's the smoothest chapter meeting I think we've ever had, and I think it's amazing that it was on Zoom. I'm very grateful for Oxford House Inc., for our main office, for everybody that works there. I've gotten to know a lot of the people in our main office, and I love them all to death. They're a crazy bunch, but the work that they put in behind the scenes to get everything done, it's amazing to me.
That's it?
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh my God, I'm gonna screw this up.
I have lost sleep over this, Mateo. I was like, oh my gosh, what is he gonna ask me?
I'm like, oh my God.
Man, keep up all the good work, and I'm looking forward to your next newsletter, and maybe a link to this video will be in that newsletter.
Maybe, but I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.